I have a problem with the world's #1 lure. It gives me diarrhea. No, I'm kidding. I'm not out here eating the lures. I swear, I am not eating the lures. Don't eat lures. Lures are not for human consumption, okay? They are for fish. I'm not eating lures, so don't do that. In all seriousness though, I do have a problem with the world's #1 lure. A lot of people consider this to be the world's #1 lure. It's an inline spinner. It's been around for a long time. It's caught a ton of fish, but in my opinion, it has one major flaw. It's got this treble hook on the back. And the treble hook has no protection. So it's very prone to weeds and snags. I've caught tons of fish on inline spinners, but I've also lost a lot of inline spinners because most of them, and when I say most, I mean most inline spinners do not have any kind of protection. So you don't get caught up in the weeds. Like these lures literally get lost in the weeds. I mean, that's an expression that carries over quite literally to the fishing world. And inline spinners get caught in the weeds all the time. I don't want it to sound like I'm bashing inline spinners. I'm not bashing inline spinners. I love inline spinners. I've caught a ton of fish with inline spinners. So to nail the point home, I'm gonna borrow the voice of Christopher Walken, okay? If I was Christopher Walken, I'd be like, listen, you've gotta respect the lure. Inline spinners have been around for 100 and something years. Your great grandfather was catching fish with the inline spinner. You've got to respect the lure. So in today's video, I'm gonna try to fix what I consider to be the #1 problem with the world's #1 lure. I'm gonna build an inline spinner that's weedless. Now, I'm not gonna act like I'm the first person to ever think of this or put a weedless hook behind an inline spinner. Excuse me, I had to burp. Well, because I'm not. Like Panther Martin has a weedless inline spinner. It sets you back like $8. Mepps has a weedless inline spinner, also sets you back about $8. Warden's Rooster Tail by Yakima Baits also has a weedless inline spinner, but that's gonna set you back like $9, $10 or maybe even more. I'm gonna build a weedless inline spinner for less than $3, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do it. Let's go do it, and then I'm gonna test it out.
All right, y'all, first up, we got a 4-inch pre-bent wire shaft from Jan's Netcraft. It costs about 10 cents a piece. The 2-aught Gamakatsu G-Lock worm hook costs a whopping $1.16. Gah. In most cases, the hook will be the most expensive part of this lure build. Next, I gotta crimp those wire ends together and then slide a small nickel-plated lure body over them both. The lure body costs about 20 cents. Also purchased from Jan's Netcraft. Next up is a plastic bead I bought at Walmart in a pack of 300. These beads cost less than 1 cent each. You can get a lot of these components cheaper if you buy them from a manufacturer in bulk. If any of you are looking for bulk lure components, leave me a comment below and I'll hook you up. That blade I'm using is a painted size 3 Indiana blade from Jan's Netcraft, and they cost $1.25 a piece. A typical blade would be much less than this. The clevis was also from Jan's Netcraft and cost 8 cents. The total cost to build this lure is just $2.79. I will be adding a soft plastic trailer later on, so keep that in mind. Once I get set up with all my lure parts, I can assemble one of these spinners in about 3 or 4 minutes, so it really doesn't take very long. If you're interested in getting one of these inline spinners for free, I'll be doing another lure giveaway soon, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. Now it's time to try to go and catch a fish.
All right, handmade inline spinner. Whoop. With a weedless hook. Zoom trick bubblegum worm. Pinch off a few inches there. All right, I'm using the last couple inches, probably 3 inches or so, of that trick worm. That's trout bait if I've ever seen one. I can really feel that blade rotating. It causes quite a vibration. That's great. That's what I'm looking for. The end of that worm is really vibrating quite a bit. Oh, there's one right there. Wow. Wow, he really hit it. That is incredible. Wow, that's a brook. Is that a brook trout? Maybe a brown. Wow, that's awesome. No, 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 no. That's incredible. There he goes. Awesome. And that was on, I think, the third cast, fourth cast maybe. All right, this is day 2. I didn't realize there was going to be a day 2, but there is. All right, same handmade inline spinner, same Zoom trick worm. Oh, I think I saw a trout. There's definitely trout in there. I can already see some trout right here in this hole. Right here. I can see them. They're not wanting to hit the pink. Let's try something else. All right, here's Zoom Swimming Super Fluke Junior. So this is the small Super Fluke. Arkansas Shiner is the color. All right, there we go. So the Arkansas Shiner is definitely a more realistic color than the pink, the bubblegum. I wonder if the profile's too big. Like, is the bait just too big? Because these are rainbow trout. These are stocked rainbow trout. Maybe I should have mentioned that. Maybe it's too big. Now I don't have my weedless. I don't have my weedless feature now. That felt like a fish. You know, that full-sized soft plastic trailer. That's what gives you your weedless feature. So I don't have that right now because I don't have the trailer. There's one. Oh, that was a bite. That was a good bite. Ooh, just didn't hook up with him. Ooh, I saw that. I saw that bite. I saw him come for it. Back to Zoom. We're gonna go with the Fat Albert. Let's see if it's a matter of color or if these fish are genuinely finicky and not gonna bite. They are not paying attention to this Fat Albert at all. This is a chartreuse Fat Albert. So I'm gonna tip the hook with a piece of the tail. So there's the piece of the tail right there. I might give the fish something to clue in on there. I don't know. Kind of a little funky action. Maybe I should have used less. Nothing, 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 nothing. Big bunch of nothing. Ugh. There's one. Ah, finally got one. Finally got a fish. Yes. Yes. Awesome. Finally. Finally caught a fish. Whew. There he is right there. Nice trout. Not that big, but we'll take him. Yeah, nice trout. Beautiful fish. I mean, I say nice trout. He's not that big. He's not that big, but he's a beautiful fish. There we go. All right, Swim away, buddy. Nice. Finally.
So I tried a lot of lures there over the course of about 30 minutes, and finally I got one bite. Got one bite on the inline spinner without any kind of trailer on it. The next bite that I got actually was able to hook up with a fish, but what I ended up doing was taking a little piece of the Fat Albert, the tail of the Fat Albert, which is just a twirl tail grub by Zoom, and I just tipped the end of the hook with that, and that kind of gave, I think that kind of gave the trout something to kind of aim at. I got a couple of good follows, and then I finally got a bite and was able to catch a trout. But I think in this clear water, I think having such a large profile spinner is probably not a good idea. I think we need something a little bit smaller. I need to scale the size down a little bit. So that's something I'm gonna try to build, is another inline spinner, but this time I want it to be a little bit, I'm gonna make one a little bit smaller, so maybe a smaller hook and possibly a smaller blade. We'll see.
There's one. Got one. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Picked it up down there, right in the middle of that current. Yeah, another beautiful, another small but pretty trout. Gosh, almost got him in the eye, despite the fact that it's a giant freaking hook. There he goes. Couldn't quite get a photo of him. He took off. That's all right. I'm glad he's okay.
Well, there you have it, our weedless inline spinner. I like the lure. I think it worked well. Fished for a couple hours, caught 3 trout. I would really love to try this when the weather's a little bit warmer. We can go for bass. I think bass probably, just because of the size of the hook and the size of the profile of the bait, the profile of the lure, I think this lure might hit a little closer to home with bass. But overall, it's definitely a success. I'm looking forward to fishing it when there's a little warmer weather, where I can throw into deeper water, maybe water that's not quite so clear, and try to catch some bass.